Call the regular meeting of the Mason County Board of County Commissioners for March 1 meeting to order. Thank you everybody for being here. We have a call to order. Or to the, excuse me. I do want to, Mason County had a horrific tragedy occur this amazing community on Friday. And we would like to take a moment to remember them in prayer. Commissioner Midland, would you read us?
Yeah, as the Commissioner just announced, normally it would be a moment of silence, but this does not seem to be the proper time for a moment of silence. Up in my community, we had a great loss, and it's had a great effect on our community and on our people up there, but all through Mason County. And if you will indulge us, you don't have to, but if you will indulge us, I would be honored if you would choose to pray with us at this moment. So I'm going to stand and... Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord God, for all the blessings you bestow upon us each and every day. These are challenging times for our community, and the effects are rippling all through our households. There's fear, there's compassion, there's hope, there's anger. The emotions run rampant everywhere. Well, today, oh Lord, I lift up Mason County and its people to dedicate them to you so that you may use us as the tool that is necessary to push forward your will, Lord God. We ask, please, that you will allow us to be a tool for you, that this may not be what defines this county, but instead is defined by the people and the actions they do in your name today and from here on out. Father, I ask that you please reach down and touch the first responders, all those people that witnessed what occurred and have to take that home to their families and just to themselves, sitting alone at night in bed and reliving what they've seen. May that event go gently into their hearts and leave their minds gently, as it could possibly affect them forever. We ask that you soften that effect and have it work for a benefit in some way. Father, as we say, usually we have a moment of silence, but this is not a time to stay silent. We ask that you empower us and you help us to raise up to protect the one survivor who was left. Father, you chose to protect a 12-year-old girl. May we as your community rise up to the challenge of taking care of her and being there for her so that she may not be alone. Father, we also ask that you rise up your angels to surround her, that she will always know who you are and never feel alone at any time in her life. This is a challenge for all of us, Lord. May it please benefit you in some way that we don't understand. But may we also not turn to anger and to hatred and to saying some of the things that we tend to say in our communities. For we do not understand what happened. And we're just going to have to adjust and deal with it and know and hope that whatever it is, this community somehow becomes better because of it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, O Lord, and deliver us from temptation. Lead us, I apologize, folks. Lead us not into temptation, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
After please rise and honor our country with pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Tim Sheldon Nebraska. Commissioner District 3, Terry Jeffries.
Here. Correspondence and organizational business. Please report the correspondence received by the Commission.
The residents of Beards Cove sent a letter regarding nuisance property on Anchor Drive. The city sent a letter regarding county staff. The Liquor and Cannabis Board sent notification of businesses with liquor and cannabis licenses to expire within 90 days. And Timberland Regional Library sent a letter regarding the appointment of Brian Vilstra to the library board.
Thank you. We have a special award for one of our employees. Brian, would you please come to the podium and make your presentation?
It is my pleasure. Come on up here. Debbie Riley, Community Services Environmental Health Manager. Not a day in my department goes by that I'm not reminded of what really exceptional people I have the honor of working with. So many days we just sort of let things go because they're part of our regular job. And then sometimes a citizen steps up and does the outstanding, comes in, makes a special trip into town, into the office just to tell me what wonderful work somebody did. And that needs to be recognized. So here we are today. It used to be when staff went out on a complaint, it was either a failing on-site septic system or garbage, household trash. Today we have something new that's been added because of the economic downturn and the loss of so many houses. We have squatters. And they move in and they just trash out the place. And this was the case. The neighborhood was upset. They were trying to do what they could. And they called us, and Alex went out and started an investigation, took photos that the homeowners association gave to the bank and the property management company. And because those photos came from Alex, things are moving forward. And the representative of the homeowners association came into the office, sought me out to shake my hand and tell me what a good job Alex did. So I'm here to thank Alex on behalf of the citizens of Mason County for going above and beyond.
As a community, we have what we call the Green Star Award. This is an award given to employees who receive accolades from the public, not from their managers or anything. And Alex, you have a tough job, and we thank you so much for what you do. And on behalf of the County Commission, we give you this Green Star.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Next, I have a news release announcing openings on the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging, the Advisory Council. Mason County is seeking applicants to fill 2 positions on the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council. This Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging is a local government agency that provides home and community services to seniors and adults with disabilities to help them remain living in their own homes. The Advisory Council makes recommendations to the Council of Governments and staff. Members serve a 2-year term and meet the first Wednesday of each month from 9:30 a.m. to approximately 12 p.m. at the Area Agency on Aging Office, 2404 Heritage Court Southwest in Olympia. Members are not paid, however, automobile mileage to attend meetings is reimbursed at the federal IRS rate. And then there's a website address, lmtaaa, that's 3a's.org, or you can contact the agency at 360-664-0791. We invite interested persons to apply by completing an Advisory Council application form that can be downloaded from their website. To have an application sent to you, you can contact Rebecca Holmes at the agency or call us at the Commissioner's office. We will send an application to you. And I'm just going to also share that we do have about 4 positions open on a new advisory board for the integration of mental health services and chemical dependency services. And we will be asking for applicants for that as well in the coming weeks. So please consider these awesome opportunities for volunteering in your community for these special populations. Is there any other correspondence or organizational business to come before the board?
And there isn't, but I wanted to let you know that Commissioner Sheldon joined the meeting. He's on the phone.
Welcome, Commissioner Sheldon.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry I was late. I had a rules committee meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can the audience hear? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Our next item of business is the open forum citizen input. This is an opportunity for you to address the council or the commission and the public on any items that are not on the agenda. If you'd like to address the commission, please raise your hand. You'll be recognized, step to the podium, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak.
Bless you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. or a presentation on the treatment plants putting water back into the sound. And what it is doing is killing the small salmon. And I got to thinking about what's happening to the clams, oysters, steelhead, and etc. that we depend on in the sound. And that brought me back to, I was here back on December 10th, 2014, and I presented and there's one for the clerk down there too. To the treatment plant, and that's what that whole article on Channel 7 was about. Then they treat the water and put it back in the sound, and it's harming the small salmon. And I would like that corrected, and at least made notice of it in the paper and on the TV. Thank you.
Conley, just so you know, I don't know about the third one, but two of ours are not water discharge. The one out in Gorst is a water discharge. It actually discharges out into the sound. The two that we have in North Bay and Belfair are discharged over the land way up above to filter through, just so you know.
Spray fields.
Spray fields, yes.
I did notify Mr. Mark Gooden, who is the ORCA, and I did him because I know him, and I knew him through Gordon Lance. And he's checking it out. He's going to go to the EPA because of the, above that, there's Olympia, Tumwater, Seattle, who could theoretically take their old medicine and put it through the treatment plant, but then it goes back into the sound. And again, what happens to the medication at Fred Meyer's, Walmart, and all these places, Neil's Pharmacy, that go distinct? Do they flush it down the toilet? We have no idea. And it's harming the marine life. Thank you.
So basically, on the short side, do not flush your medications down the toilet. We can filter a lot of things, but we cannot do pharmaceuticals. And there are medication drop boxes, are there not?
Yes. There's one at the sheriff's office here on Pine Street, and there is one in front of the District 2 fire station in Belfair. So, and they're taking in a tremendous amount of unwanted pharmaceuticals, very successful program at both ends of the county.
Thank you for that, bringing that to our public's attention. Is there anybody else who would like to address the commission? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rhoda Pikeinen, and I live in Grapeview. And I just wanted to mention that this is the first day of the spraying in our county. The county does this every year, the spraying of the roads. And it's over 165 miles of roads, the margins that are sprayed, 8 feet, maybe less. And I know it's done earnestly, but as you look at the products that they're using to spray these roads, it's nasty stuff. And I feel like we're at cross purposes in this county because we have people at the Conservation District and the Extension saying no toxics in the water, and guides for shore living, and I mean there's reams of material that we can read about that say have a water garden, try to stop the runoff of water by planting grasses and holding the water back, but what we do is go out and kill the grasses. So I think that there needs to be an analysis, maybe even some kind of, if there could be some kind of cost-benefit analysis for the amount of money. I don't have the cost, that figure, but the amount of money that we spend to do all this spraying and the benefit. And as I'll look Karen at the Conservation District said that maybe there could be more site-specific work done where people could physically mow the grass instead of poisoning it. Or like I talked to Alan Eaton at Public Works, and he was telling me that the reasons they have to do all the spraying is because the shoulders of the roadways have to be kept clear of vegetation. But I think that there are places, like culverts and areas going down to the water that could be dug out physically instead of sprayed. So I really think this needs to be analyzed, and maybe it has been carefully analyzed by the county. It has been analyzed carefully because I really think that it's a problem. Like the area across from Olympic College, under where all the flowers are hanging. Now, I don't know if the city was in charge of that. The city's in charge of that. Yeah, they just killed it all. But in the county, I meant to look that up before I came today. But I hope that we can be more careful about the amount of spraying that's being done. It's too late now, but I'm hoping for maybe coming year that could be looked into more. And we could work, maybe the agencies could work together, the Conservation District, the County Extension, because they all agree that it's not good to be doing all this spraying. And when you look up these materials, like one of them is a 2,4-D product, which is it is broadleaf herbicide. I fought this years ago in the 80s at the campus at Pullman. For 3 years I fought using 2,4-D because it has all kinds of weird effects that are not acknowledged by Monsanto or the companies or our government. But yeah, I think we need to look into what we're doing and the effect it might have on our county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Al, would you be willing to talk about, share what the program is and considerations that are given regarding the harm that might be?
You're most knowledgeable.
Would you please?
Good morning, Commission. I'm Alan Eaton with the Mason County Public Works Department. I spoke with Mrs. Pikeman yesterday briefly about the program. Historically, the county was a no-spray county prior to the mid-90s, and I think it had been a no-spray county about 17 years. And the effects on that on our road system and infrastructure got to the point where we restarted the program with commission approval, and we now do what we call the shoulder residual program on county roads. Typically those are on county roads that have been rebuilt with built crushed rock shoulders, and we also do guardrails and noxious weed control around the county. Roughly speaking, we spend less than $60,000 a year on that tool in our toolbox. Mechanical brush cutting is very expensive, and then on top of just mechanically maintaining vegetation on those shoulders where you need the roads to drain so traffic's not hydroplaning and the road beds can drain out and dry out. The only other options are it essentially grows up and you have to remove the material. Then you have to take that material somewhere to get rid of it, and that gets into a whole other question about possible heavy metals with roadside materials, so you could get into testing on that scenario. And then the cost for bringing material back in on those areas where our shoulder residual program, we're able to go out and hit those occasionally with the road grader and just move the material that's on site and re-slope the shoulders and roll them back in. It's been very effective. More than happy to look at or answer any questions in more depth, but kind of in a nutshell, that's what we do and why we do it. There's also things such as fire danger and animals that aren't visible when vegetation grows up close to the roadway. So there's a lot of different reasons that we do what we do.
Thank you for that explanation. Is there anybody else that would like to address the commission at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to the adoption of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move for the adoption of the agenda as presented.
Madam Chair, I'll second the motion to adopt the agenda as presented today.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carried. We have no minutes for approval, so that takes us to the approval of the action agenda. All the items on the action agenda are intended to be passed with one motion. The commission will read through each of the items. And after that is finished, we'll offer an opportunity for anybody to ask any questions on any items on the agenda, as well as with the commission. Then there'll be an opportunity to request that any of these items be pulled for a separate vote and testimony from the public. That being said, let's see, we have 14 items here. Commissioner Sheldon, would you please read items 8.1 through 8.5? Commissioner Netherland, 8.6 through 8.11. I will read the rest.
Yes?
Yes. Commissioner Sheldon? Commissioner Sheldon, can I interrupt you a minute?
Yes.
It seems that you stepped away from your microphone, so to speak.
Let me try this. Is this better?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, much better.
I'm sorry. I'll start again. Under 8.1, approval of the Veterans Assistance Fund applications for necessity items, $350, utilities, $586.96, and housing, $1,000, for a total of $1,918.95, as recommended by the Veterans Service Office. 8.2, approval for the board to authorize the R&R to declare certain equipment and vehicles as surplus and dispose of at the Washington State Surplus Sales and Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers. 8.3, approval for the board to authorize Public Works Utilities Division to enter into a 2-year contract with Tacoma Diesel and Equipment Incorporated for annual generator services. Payment for the services will be proportionally applied to the 5 utility system center funding, and that funding for the work will be paid out of the following accounts: North Bay, Russellwood, and Belfair. 8.4, approval for the board to authorize Public Works to enter into a contract with Correct Equipment to install new electrical panels at lift stations 2 and 3 for the Russellwood sewer system for the amount of $12,970, plus shipping, and the funding for the work will be paid from the Russellwood account. 8.5, approval for the board to authorize Public Works to enter into a contract with Correct Equipment to purchase and install emissions control lift station. Sounds like we're going to run monitoring and monitoring system for Russellwood wastewater treatment plant and lift stations. The cost is $12,360.94 and will be paid from the Russellwood account.
Madam Chair, item number 8.6, approval to amend resolution number 45-15 for the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Micro Enterprise Program, changing the funding request from $269,200 or to $269,210. Item number 8.7, approval to appoint William Kaiser and William Sharp to the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council for terms ending December 2017. Item number 8.8, approval of the memorandum of agreement between Mason County and Washington State University Extension that provides funding for Washington State University Extension to provide programs in Mason County based on the 2016 budget. Item number 8.9, approval of the resolution for the Teamsters General Service Collective Bargaining Agreement for employees to apply to participate in the Public Employees Benefit Board program for medical insurance and sign the governmental function attestation form as required for the application package. Item number 8.10, approval of winter 2016 Heritage Grant to North Bay Historical Society in the amount of $5,000 for producing short videos for public use and archiving pertaining to the history of the Sergeant Oyster House. Item number 8.11, approval of the following non-represented reclassification requests effective March 1st, 2016 that were received during the exceptional request window of opportunity and signed and revised non-represented salary scale range alignment resolution. Number 1, Chief Deputy Assessor's Office 2, Chief Deputy Assessor Range 29, Step 3. Chief Deputy Appraiser, Assessor's Office, to Range 29, Step 5. Personal Health Manager to Range 34, Step 4. Program Manager 2, Health Department, to Environmental Health Manager, Step 34, or Step 34, Range, it should be Range 34, Step 4. Chief Deputy Prosecuting Attorney to Range 46, Step 1. Administrative Supervisor for the Prosecutor's Office to Administrative Manager, Range 29, Step 5. Road Operations and Maintenance, ER&R Manager to Step 38, should be Range 38, Step 4, and remove special pay. Public Works Director to Range 46, Step 5, removal of special pay. Support Services Director to Range 46, Step 5, removal of special pay. Engineer 1, Public Works to Range 26. Engineer 1, Public Works, working out of class to Engineer 2. Finance Manager, Public Works to Range 31, Step 4. Assistant, Road Maintenance Manager to Road Operation and Maintenance Assistance Manager, Range 34, Step 4, removal of special pay. Therapeutic Court Program Manager 1 to Range 25, Step 1, permanent reclassification, Court Administrator to Superior Court Administrator, Range 35, Step 1.
Item 8.12, approval of the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with ASCME Local Union 1504 for the following reclassifications effective March 1, 2016 that were received during the exceptional request window of opportunity. District Court Clerk Supervisor to Administrative Assistant, Range 25. Senior Accounting Technician, Auditor's Office to Financial Analyst, Range 27. 8.13, approval of the reclassification of the Senior Accounting Technician to Program Support Technician, Teamsters General Services Contract, effective March 1, 2016. The Departments of Community Development and Public Health have been combined, creating the Community Services Department, and due to the expanded duties, this position is being reclassified. And finally, item 8.14, approval of the letter to the Department of Ecology requesting a temporary upgrade of Marty Braybill's Group 2 wastewater operator certification to a Group 3 certification in order to meet regulatory requirements until permanent staff can be hired. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to have any questions on any items just read? Questions? Commission, do you have any questions? Is there anybody in the audience that would like any items pulled for a separate vote? Commissioners?
Boy, I'm like glad on that one.
Commissioner Sheldon, would you like anything pulled for a separate vote?
No, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the action agenda as written.
Is there a second?
I'm sorry, the motion to approve the entire action agenda,
Yes.
and then I will second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve all items on the action agenda. Is there any discussion? I do have some discussion. Just for the public's knowledge, all these reclassifications are our effort to address an issue that's been ongoing, a legacy issue in the county, in that we did not have a real clear reclassification policy. And they were, in my opinion, unevenly applied over the years. And so a policy had been written, but we had had previous requests over the last at least 3 years that we wanted to acknowledge and address independent of our new policy going forward. So these reclassifications are to clean up the past, but we will be going forward with some new, with a new policy that we hope will be less subjective, more objective. And I also wanted to indicate that there was a number of reclassification requests coming from our public defender's office. And that is a fairly new program as an independent office for the county. And we had determined that all of the structure of that department potentially needs to be revisited regarding responsibilities about case assignment and maintaining parity with our prosecutor's office and the deputy prosecutors, are they all deputies?
Yeah.
Deputy prosecutors. So we will, and we committed to the Office of Public Defense that we will be addressing that in a more comprehensive and holistic manner in a short time.
Madam Chair, I'll be in favor of also, I'm proud that we finally got this done for them. From what I understand in talking to them, this has been an ongoing issue for many years, I guess. It was a little bit of a heavy lift, but we did our jobs and we got through it all. And I'm proud that we're moving this forward.
And recognition and thank you to our Human Resources Department for all the work that was involved in the analysis of each of the requests. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye?
Aye. Commissioner Sheldon?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a comment just before I vote. I just want to also thank the staff. It's very technical work to look through all the job descriptions and all the information that came in. So I want to also compliment them and also vote aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. That takes us, there are no public hearings. That takes us to item number 10. This is the other business. An opportunity for our department heads and elected officials to address the commission and the public. Are there any department heads that would like to address the public? Elected officials, do we have our sheriff here? Thank you.
I want to make a brief comment on the chain of events last Friday. We have received, been inundated with phone calls and emails to our office regarding the circumstance that took place in Belfair. I've been asked time and time again, what can we do? And the answers I'm giving everybody is, if you keep your thoughts and prayers for the surviving victim, the young girl that survived, and those family members. We spent an hour or so with them last night before memorial service. If you just please keep them in mind. I want to thank the local media staff here. There becomes a habit sometimes of people being very disrespectful in the questions that they ask, and our local media has been real respectful in keeping with the information that we put out there. Dietrich, last Friday you were at our breakfast when we had to break that, and I asked you to turn off your camera, and I appreciate that because we had to go to a really high-level issue in moments time, and I didn't need that on camera. Thank you for that. Staff at our agency and the multi-agency response last Friday was our law enforcement breakfast. There was multiple agencies in our region that responded with us directly from that meeting out at the Little Creek. There's a whole bunch of agencies to name, but I just say it's a multi-agency response. We thank them for that and their professionalism and their resources. And especially I want to thank folks at the Sheriff's Office. It's a very tough, enduring thing for those folks that were there the whole time and had the experience that they did. It's going to be a while before we're moving forward with ourselves. I'd like to also mention every piece of equipment that we've ever asked for was used that day, and then some from other agencies. So when we're asking for equipment, the things that we need when these days come along, it becomes very important. Also, I don't know if Senator Sheldon's still on the line. Are you still on there, Senator?
Yes, I am, sir.
Thank you for your phone calls and the representation you gave us from the state. Lieutenant Governor Brad Owen called several times over the weekend and during the time. We received several phone calls from Governor Jay Inslee and Congressman Kilmer as we were working with the State Department and other organizations. So thank you for that. But again, number one priority that I ask for is that if there's anything you can do, keep that little girl in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Please.
I have to leave, but I want to make a couple comments. First of all, I want to compliment the Sheriff's Office on the job that they did. This is not easy on officers and staff, certainly. Senator McCoy, who represents the 38th District up in Snohomish County, Marysville, and said to me yesterday, he said, "Well, Sheldon, now we have something in common." And I said, "What's that?" He said, we Sheriff's Office and his staff for the professional manner that they handled the situation, and agreeing that they also go through rules, and this is not easy for anyone. And but thank you to the sheriff and his staff for just a job well done. It's not fun for anyone. And I'm sorry I've got to leave long before. Thank you.
I'd like Commissioner Sheldon at the meeting. I echo those thanks to your staff. I can't even imagine what it's like to maintain your professionalism while having such a tragic event unfold before your eyes. Thank you and your deputies for your work.
And the thought that they had to see what they did and carry that home. Sorry, Sheriff.
We have our auditor here. Would you like to address the public on any issues?
I don't.
I don't think we have any other elected officials in the room. That takes us to the board reports and calendars. This is an opportunity for us to share some of the work we've done and meetings that we might have been at together and will in the future as our way of adhering to the Open Public Meetings Act. Commissioner, would you like to start?
North Mason Chamber of Commerce Luncheon, Lions of Healthy South Sound, courthouse security meeting, constituents with community issues, Shelton Cemetery meeting. There was a fundraising event in Belfair. I think it was a Chambers After Hour that turned into a fundraiser event kind of for the hub, right?
It wasn't a chamber event, but it was.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay. And it turned out that I was a temporary auctioneer for a half a second. I walked in the door and they said, "Would you do it?" I said, "No." And then they said, "But we've already asked and nobody else will do it. Will you do it?" I said, "Okay, yes." And so we went through and did an auction there, and it actually went over pretty well. My daughter's birthday, I stretched from 5 to 32. And that's a long thing, a long way. A man's got to have a hobby, and that apparently is mine, and I love it. Legislative Steering Committee conference call, Salmon Center, Food and Fellowship meeting, had briefings, attended a prayer vigil last night for the victims and the people in North Mason there, and left board meeting. We have our interviews several times this week for the Community Development Director. They'll be taking up most of our time. EDC Regulatory Subcommittee meeting, Legislative Steering Committee Roundtable, Legislative Steering Committee Day on the Hill, Hood Canal Coordinating Council, and we're not going to be here for the next week meetings.
I had our Rotary meeting. We heard from the folks who were trying to put together a recreational center. And it's an endeavor we're very appreciative of and very much needing in this community. Met with a commissioner from Grace Harbor County, West Cornwall, regarding some potential opportunities to partner together around criminal justice. Mason Transit Authority staff, Habitat for Humanity, and the Community Action Council. Mason Matters, we have made an offer to a new executive director for that organization, and have redesigned the framework of what Mason Matters does, and it will be around being the steward of what we call our Community Health Improvement Plan. And we have the acceptance of, we're still one of your employees, Jamie Raywald, from WSU Extension. The Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging. I had the opportunity to tour the Kitsap Mental Health Facility up in Bremerton and learn about, if you're not familiar, the state of Washington is working hard to integrate substance abuse treatment with mental health treatment services. And Kitsap Mental Health has been on the forefront of that for quite a few years, and it was a great opportunity to learn how they've done it. And I now sit on the local behavioral health organization board of Thurston and Mason County, which we're trying to do the same, and so it was a great model for me. Congratulations, Kitsap Mental Health, for the work you've done there. Attended a fundraiser myself over the weekend for cystic fibrosis, and then we had commissioner briefings yesterday. Had a meeting of the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization. I also attended the vigil in Belfair last night. We will have interviews of our community services director position that is open, the new merging of public health and Department of Community Development, and we'll be doing that basically all week. We had quite a few applicants, which is very good. Let's see, so then I will be meeting with Amanda Reed, who is the Director of Capital Land Trust, regarding the Bayshore Golf Course property and how they plan on using that property and hopefully keeping it available to the public. I will be in attendance of a behavioral health conference over the weekend and early next week, and I appreciate the commissioners canceling our meetings so I can attend those meetings. Unfortunately, in Las Vegas, I've never had any desire in my life to go to Las Vegas, and now I have to for a mental health conference. So, and then
Hey, isn't that pretty fitting?
Also be attending the an alliance of healthcare organizations. Boy, I'm really doing mental health things these days.
Isn't that fitting? No, just kidding. I had to take it.
And then we're meeting with County City Commissioner Kathy McDowell, and then I'll bring us back to meetings, commission briefings on Monday the 14th. Is there anything else to come before this board?
Just to remember in your hearts and your prayers that little girl, and if you see an opportunity, stand. She needs it. She's by herself, and hopefully we'll make sure she doesn't stay that way. Move we adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Got a minute?